Today I will be presenting about Josef Müller Brockmann, who is one of the most influential designers of the 20th century. He was born in Rapperswil, Switzerland in 1914 and studied architecture, design, and art history at the University of Zurich. He began his career as an apprentice to the designer Walter Digelmann, and you can see by Digelmann's designs of these posters that there is an emphasis on the text. Very bold fonts were used, and this would go on to inspire Brockmann's work in the future. Brockmann established his own studio in Zurich, specializing in graphics, exhibition design, and photography, and by the 1950s he was one of the leading practitioners and theorists of the very popular Swiss style. The Swiss style, otherwise known as the International style, originated in Switzerland in the 1940s and 50s, and was the basis for much of graphic design during the mid-20th century. It emphasized legibility, simplicity, and objectivity. By using sans serif typography, asymmetrical layouts, and grids, designers were able to achieve simple, understandable designs that remained interesting. The Swiss style stressed that typography, combined with photography, led to the most successful visual communication. Here are a few posters by Josef Müller Brockmann. These are from his Musica Viva poster series, and you can see just how his designs lived within the Swiss style. Brockmann was also an editor of the graphic design journal called Neue Grafik, and he went on to become a professor of graphic design in Zurich and a guest lecturer at many other places. He became the European design consultant for IBM and has published many books, including The Graphic Artist and His Design Problems, History of Visual Communication, History of the Poster, and Grid Systems in Graphic Design. And he has many exhibitions of his work worldwide, and in 1987 he was given a gold medal for his cultural contributions by the state of Zurich. So here are a few of his books. Brockmann didn't develop the Swiss style on his own. He was influenced a lot by the constructionist art movement. Constructivism, thought to have officially started in 1913, was influenced itself by Cubism and Futurism, and artists started to create abstract, constructed geometric forms. These new works were inspired by new technologies, machines, and the strive for functionalism that was present at the time. Two renowned artists in the constructivist movement were L. Lissitzky and Alexander Rodchenko. And you can see this piece here is by L. Lissitzky. Brockmann's work remains influential today. For example, the graphic design group named Experimental Jet Set has created many designs that clearly draw from Brockmann's past work. One example of which, non-surprisingly, is their design for the cover of the Helvetica DVD. But it's not just that appears like Brockmann's work. You can see in these posters here that they use many of the same typographic techniques that Brockmann was a fan of. Now let's take a closer look at one of Brockmann's most famous works, his Beethoven poster, to analyze just how well thought out and constructed his pieces were. The first thing I noticed about the Beethoven poster was this line between the two areas of text underneath the title. This seemed very important, so I went ahead and highlighted it, and it turned out to match up with the distance between the top of the poster and the bottom corner on the outermost concentric circle. Another line that seemed very important to this poster was the line underneath the title. So I went ahead and highlighted that in a different color, and it turned out to match up with one of the heights of another concentric circle. And going off of this line, I realized that the outermost concentric circle, the height of it was equal to 2 of those distances, and another concentric circle was equal to 1/2 of that distance. And this green distance that I've highlighted here was also approximately equal to the distance between the title and the two areas of text. And half of this green distance turned out to be equal to another height of another concentric circle, which also happened to be approximately equal to the distance between the word Beethoven and the side of the poster. And half of this blue distance turned out to be another height, and half of that, another height. Then I decided to construct a circle that matched up with the curve of the innermost concentric circle. And it turned out that the top of that first line I drew was the center of that circle. I then overlaid a protractor and drew lines that aligned with the edges of each concentric circle. I then realized that most of them ended on 5-degree marks. And you can see with this graphic side by side with the original poster just how much planning Brockmann did. Thank you.